Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the super lightweight knockout artist himself. It is, of course, Mr. Gary Antuanne Russell. Gary, welcome back on the show.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
I always appreciate having you on, Gary. It's always my pleasure. So we last spoke back in May. At the time, you were getting ready to fight Alberto Puello. We haven't spoke since that fight. Let's start with that. Obviously, you lost for the first time as a pro. Talk me through the fight, Gary. For me, it was one of the biggest upsets of 2024.
It was. Every fight that's lost is an upset, but me personally, coming off the knockout streak that I was on, odds was definitely on my favor. And yes, it was an upset. I want to say simply, I deviated from the game plan. If I had to tell you all what happened behind the scenes, it was just some people that was discrediting me. I didn't take it too well. They was just saying that I'm one-dimensional, basically, compared me to a fighter that is one-dimensional. And I took offense to it. I basically was telling them, like, nah, I don't fight like him. I got more skills than him. Don't disrespect me, in a sense. Not taking away anything from the person that they compared me to, but I feel like it was disrespectful for the person to say, oh, man, you fight like him. No, I don't fight like him. Thank you, but no thank you for your credit. I got more skills. So if you pay attention to the fight, I was dominating round 1 through 6. Then I want to say at the end of round 6, I started taking off just to show that I can do it multiple ways. I'm multifaceted and in my style, my craft, and it would still be entertaining. And I feel like me doing that kind of made it too competitive to the point. They just said, hey, let's get these rounds to him. It was competitive. No one never lasted this long with Russell. So let's give him his props. And it cost me the fight. It's equivalent to Mike Tyson knocking everybody out and somebody comes along and lasts the fight with Mike Tyson. They're going to look at this guy as like the stuff. He lasted all 12 rounds with the most feared man in boxing. So it's kind of like it worked against me. But I would never let that happen again. I would never let the judges take the decision out of my hands.
Gary, if you don't mind me asking, who was the fighter you were compared to?
Oh, wow.
If you don't mind me asking. If you don't want to answer that, I'll never pressure you to answer anything.
It was actually Shawn Porter.
Wow.
Like I said, not taking away from him, but I feel like he is one-dimensional, and I got more skills than him. No disrespect to him and how he do things, but I feel like that's just what it is. That's just what it is.
I get that.
I know that I'm a pressure fighter or like a pressure puncher, but I can go from pressure fighter to boxer puncher to skill. So it's like slick. I can do it. I feel like I never had to go into my arsenal and show those type of skills based off of the opponents that I had in front of me. Once before, someone told me, you don't take a hammer out of your tool bag to screw some screws in. You get a Phillips screwdriver. You don't need no chainsaw. So take out what's necessary.
I understand. I love, by the way, a Gary Russell analogy, as you know. I want to ask you as well, obviously, in that fight with Puello, so do you put that down to, like, a mental block with yourself rather than anything Puello did physically on the night?
Right.
Okay.
And honestly, I want to say, sorry to cut you off, I want to say I still did enough to beat him.
Right.
I feel as though he didn't do enough to win those rounds. Did he survive? Yes, he survived. Did he get beat down as bad as he did in the early rounds? No, but he didn't do any punctuating himself. Last time I checked, landing no punches don't win rounds.
Gary, does the rematch need to happen, or do you not care so much about avenging the
It
loss?
needs to happen.
Needs
It needs
to
to happen. I don't care if he lose to Sandor Martin. I don't care if I'm undisputed. I would still go tree shaking and say, "Hey, our brother Puello, you want the opportunity again?"
Yeah. I love that because sometimes, we see a guy take a loss and then he goes every other route to try to avoid having that rematch. I love what you're saying there. You're interested in that at any point, regardless of the belt situation. That's very refreshing. We love that. Let's move on though, rather than sticking in the past. I didn't mean to go into it for that long. Your upcoming fight, March the 1st in Brooklyn, you'll be boxing Jose Valenzuela for his WBA world title. Now, Valenzuela has shown in recent times he can adapt in fights. He's got good feet. He's got a decent ring IQ. What do you know about him, Gary? What have you seen? I think you muted yourself.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I said I know that he's going to come in shape. He got some punching power in one hand. Do we have it in both? No, I don't believe he has it in both. But he's more skilled than a lot of the fighters that in the weight division that he comes from, because he's moving up from 35 to 40. When he fought Isaac Cruz, he outskilled Isaac Cruz. And it showed some type of flexibility in his adaptation. Him being an adapt, he's showing a lot of flexibility in that area, and I'm happy for him. But I know for a fact that I'm not an Isaac Cruz or anybody else that he done went up against and became victorious over. He bit off more than he could chew with me, I believe.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this fight. I'm really excited for it. So do you see it as an easier or tougher fight than Puello?
I would say easier, because naturally when you're fighting tall, longer opponents, you got to work harder to get inside, close the distance, and be effective, versus having someone that's your height, same arm length, and kind of have a style that's more of a puncher boxer versus running around a ring trying to keep me at bay.
And I want to ask you this as well, Gary. The newest world champion at 140 right now is Richardson Hitchens. What are your thoughts on him?
I really got no thoughts on him. He did what he did to get the belt. I really don't care about any other potential opponent. My main objective is to wipe out my division, become undisputed. But first I gotta make sure that I'm handling what's in front of me, and that's Venezuela. I get that belt immediately. I'm going to unify.
That's the aim, to unify before the year's out, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Why not keep the entertaining going?
I love that. How soon then do you think we could see the Puello rematch? I mean, obviously you say, he's in a tough test against Martin, who I actually felt deserved to have got the decision against Teofimo Lopez a while back. But if he were to win, if he were to keep his belt, which I'm sure you probably want him to do, it makes the rematch bigger. How soon do you think we could see you and Puello getting it on as a unification rematch?
It really doesn't matter. It can be immediately, or it can be after someone else is, attempted to take his belt, and he defended it victoriously. Doesn't matter.
And Gary, the main event on the card, obviously you're boxing on the undercard. The main event, Gervonta Davis, Lamont Roach. Who have you got winning that fight?
Man, that's a stiff fight, to be honest. It's gonna be entertaining. I know that for sure. You got Gervonta Tank Davis, that's known for his explosiveness. A lot of fighters, they naturally say, "Oh, he lose the fight up until he landed one big shot." Okay, Granted, yes, he get touched and play possum all the way up until he finds that soft spot. But at the end of the day, he's victorious. And he's winning by knockouts. Can't take that away from him. Ain't too much you can say about that. He is skilled. He does have some punching power. The only flaw that works against him that he has is that he can't start too late in the fight. He can't start off giving the fight away. Lamont Roach, he's skilled. He's an underdog, but he also get understated. You know, he's an understatement. Like, you know, like, okay, coming into the fight out of shape or not in the right mind space, you will lose because he's going to make you look like a fool.
Yeah.
He got enough skills to last with Tank. I'm pretty sure he's going to come in shape, and he's going to make sure that he's focused, you know, to the best of his ability. And with that remedy, I feel like he does have a chance. He's not known to be a big puncher, but he can get your attention. He will grab your attention with some of these shots, especially with these little 8-ounce gloves on.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The last time I spoke to your brother, Gary Allen Russell, last time I spoke to him was about 3 years ago, this month, I think it was. And when we last spoke, he was talking at the time to me about wanting to fight Gervonta Davis. Obviously, we never saw it, but are the Davis, sorry, not the Davis family, are the Russell family cool with Gervonta at the minute, or?
I mean, we watched them grow up. We fought in numerous tournaments together. So it's not like it's any beef or animosity that's there. Anything that can be taken as animosity, honestly, genuinely, is coming from just a warrior mentality. We are fighters, you know. And when you're in a profession that we're in, that we participate in, eventually you're going to want to fight the best, because everybody that participates in a sport, they're looking at themselves as the best. And if you classify yourself as the best, the only way that you can really gauge yourself as the best or how good you are is going against the best. The ones who have the titles, the ones who have the resume. And in history, he's been in fights jumping like catch weights, jumping from 135 to 40, or 130 jumping up to 135, fighting bigger guys. So it was kind of like he was waddling the line between my weight division and my older brother's division, and Gary Russell Jr., Mr. Gary Russell. You know, so it was a lot of talk about, hey, do you two think that y'all would be a good fight, a matchup? Do y'all think that it would be one-sided fight? How do you feel about Gervonta Davis being in your division? All of these type of things, you know. So I feel like that just came from us being competitive. I feel like everything is just centered around what we do.
I understand that. And obviously, it's been some time now. It's a tough question, this, really, but it's been some time now. Is there still a missing piece in the gym in terms of your father? Is that hole still there?
The hole will always be there.
Yeah, I understand that.
That hole will always be there. The reason why, one of the main reasons, because now that he isn't there, we have to fill that void by not allowing these teachings, the gifts, and the glimpse of greatness that he done showed us. We cannot let that go in vain. We cannot waste that. We have to honor not just my father, but everything that my father stood for, and etc.
Yeah, well said. Fantastic man. And just briefly, before we wrap things up, Gary, if you've got any closing words to the listeners, just before we let you go, you can say whatever you like. You know I'm a massive fan of the Russell family philosophy. If you've got any nuggets of wisdom, drop them. Say whatever you like. I'm just excited to hear you sign out on this interview.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for those who lack inspiration internally, you have everything. The more you believe within what you have, your abilities, I feel like the doors will open. But you can't be discouraged when things aren't going your way or you find yourself in a position of the unknown.
There we go.
So
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
I say the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Gary. I love it every time. Listen, my friend, as always, the pleasure is mine. Thanks so much for your time. We'll speak again soon. Best of luck March the 1st. I can't wait to speak to the new champion of the world next time.
Yes. I love it. Thank you, young man. Once again, I appreciate for extending a hand to me and allowing me on your show. Talk to you soon.